Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we are diving into Corner Growth Acquisition Corp 2's annual report, and let me tell you, it's like finding an old treasure map, but the treasure might just be IOUs. Prepare for a ride penned. This report tells a story of extensions, sponsor changes, and a race against the clock to find a business combination. Buckle up because this blank check company is running out of time, and quickly, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. It's a great place for all the sharpest investors. Corner Growth Acquisition Corp 2 is what is known as a blank check company. Think of it this way, it's a company made to find another company. It exists only to merge with or acquire another business and take it public. Corner Growth has until December of 2025 to find a business combination, also known as the combination period. After that, the company will liquidate and return what's left to shareholders. They were originally incorporated in the Cayman Islands, which is a whole other layer of complexity. The main question here is, will Corner Growth find a deal before the clock strikes midnight? The company's main goal is finding another company to take public through a merger. Right now, they are looking for businesses with the potential to grow, primarily focusing on the technology industry in the United States and other developed countries. If they cannot find a business to take public, the investors may only receive around $12 per share, which will fluctuate based on the balance of their trust account. Back in 2021, Corner Growth raised $185 million through an initial public offering, also mentioned as IPO, selling units for $10 each. To mature the growth to find a business to merge with, there have been some extensions of deadlines when the shareholders approved for the company to have more time to find a business. One of their shareholder meetings approved extending the deadline for a business combination to December 31, 2024, but because of the delay, almost 1.5 million shares were redeemed by shareholders, who clearly didn't want to wait, meaning they took their money and ran. There was another meeting in December to extend the deadline again, which was approved to move the deadline to December 31, 2025. But like before, it also meant more shareholders leaving and taking their money with them. One of the more interesting things that happened to Corner Growth has been a kind of sponsor transfer. The original sponsor, CGA Sponsor 2 LLC, transferred its controlling interest in the company to Corner Square LLC, which is now the new sponsor. This essentially means a change in the leadership and direction of the company. The original sponsor castled certain amounts of private placement warrants, a 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 private placement warrants. A private placement warrants allows the owner, Corner Square LLC, new sponsor, the ability to purchase more shares. Market risk section is not applicable because Corner Growth are a smaller reporting company and are not required to provide the information. It's no surprise given the circumstances. There's also some seesawing with their leadership where Hao Tian takes the wheel as Chief Executive and Financial Officer after the management transferred in August of 2024. Now let's talk about some of the financials I'm just as excited as one can get about these. Let's fast scroll to the financial statements. As of December of 2024, they have very little cash outside of their trust account. It's basically just enough for a coffee. As a company meant to find and merge with another business, the trust account is their treasure chest holding at $2.240.24. They also have something called a shareholders deficit of approximately more than $300,000. This is a measure of things owed. In other words, they owe more than they own. For the entire year of 2024, Corner Growth had a net income of over $1.5 million, mainly thanks to $2 million in debt forgiveness and $400,000 in trust account gains. Whereas in 2023, they had a net loss because they had to pay fees. When we're talking about cash, it's important to know something is not cash if it is non-cash. $16,000 that was received from the trust account. The company received funding and had to pay it back. Now that I've spoken the numbers, let's give my take on all this. If you agree with my analysis, please hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more content and join the Discord server link in this video description for more discussions. There are also so many ways for risks. We read risk factors. The company is prone to cybersecurity risks, hackers that steal your data, risk associated with the current state of affairs in the world, war, or simply the company going bust. The big conflict of interest, the sponsor, the backer of this whole operation, needs to either find a deal or lose all their investment. That creates motivation, but not the good kind. It's in the best interest for you, shareholders, if I pick a bad deal over no deal, says hypothetically the sponsor. Another interesting one to notice is the fact that this corner growth is incorporated in Cayman Island and not the US. This can create all sorts of legal headaches that might make protecting investors' interest more difficult in court. If I were to try to summarize, this blank check company needs to quickly actually find a real company to take public, which might bring along a lot more problems, but it can also pay off in the long run for shareholders. And the long run for shareholders, SAP the clock is ticking. It's now or never for Corner Growth Acquisition Corp. 2 to become a real player or be relegated to the history books as just another failed SPAC. As for risks, this thing has got more risks than a leaky submarine at the bottom of the ocean. From depending on a limited team to potential conflicts of interest to legal hurdles from being incorporated in the Cayman Islands, this ship is sailing through stormy waters. In conclusion, I'd say this is a high risk, high rewards play. The company's future is hanging on a thin thread of if and maybes. It's like watching a dramatic movie where you are not quite sure if there will be a happy ending. Alright, that's our breakdown of Corner Growth's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.